the resuscitation of the vision statement, and that is that every school will be a thriving school that prepares every student to graduate from high school, college, career, and community ready. And the second item on our agenda this evening is a motion for approval of the minutes. I would move that the Board of Education approve the minutes from the regular meeting dated March 19th, 2018.
Second.
Any discussion? Ahmad, your advisory vote?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 7-0. Okay, next on our agenda are public appearances. And we want to thank you all for coming to speak to us this evening. Speakers are welcome to speak on any topic at the regular board meeting, but we would like the speakers in the audience to know that board action and conversation is limited to items on our agenda, which means members will not be able to engage in conversation with speakers. We will take your comments into account in our decision-making and follow up where appropriate. Speakers who require language interpretation support in order to speak to the board shall be given up to 6 minutes to speak, which shall generally provide sufficient time for the interpreter to convey the speaker's message. Individuals with disabilities who require accommodations in order to register and speak to the board shall be granted such accommodation upon request. Other extensions may be granted only by the approval of the board. Thank you again for participating in our meeting tonight. We have a number of speakers. I don't know the exact number here, but there are a lot. So every person will have 3 minutes, up to 3 minutes to speak. I would ask that everyone be respectful of all the speakers here, regardless of whether we agree with their point of view or not. As you can see, there is a timer in the corner, so speakers have visibility as to when their 3 minutes is going to be up. I will prompt speakers who go over the 3 minutes that time is up as well. There is going to be a some type of audio too that goes off at that time. So the first public appearances we have are with regards to the adoption of the 2018-19 budget and certification of the tax levy. So I'm going to need to ask for some guidance here with those staff who are any of the comments or public appearances with regards to the budget? Okay. Okay. If there are none, then we will move on to our general public appearances. And with that, I will call the first speaker and then the second speaker. Since we do have a lot of speakers this evening, I would ask that the person next in line come to the front and be ready to take the podium as soon as the speaker in front of them is finished. So our first speaker this evening is Greg Murray, and Greg will be followed by Araceli Esparza. Greg?
Sorry. Good evening. My name is Greg Murray. I'm a parent of 2 students at La Follette High School. First of all, I wanted to start out maybe on a positive note by thanking the board and the administration. We have had a lot of meetings at La Follette over the past several weeks. Many of the members of the administration, Alex, many of the board members have come and talked with us, and we've had good meetings. A list of action items has been produced. And that's been very positive dialogue on these safety and infrastructure challenges we have at La Follette. So thank you for reaching out. Thank you for the dialogue. We have a lot of work to do at La Follette. We have a lot of great things happening at La Follette, fantastic teachers, great students, but we need to sustain that. And without these kind of discussions and work on the issues that are confronting our school, we will not be able to sustain those. Having said that, I want to make sure we keep our eye on the ball here. We need to actually implement the safety and security improvements. They need to be improved and installed, not just talked about and bid on. The scheduling issues at La Follette have to be resolved. Bored kids, kids with 3 hours of study hall, that is not a good sustainable model for our population. Our kids need to be taught in classes, not lots of study hall. The training for the teachers, the training for these systems, they need to be implemented. My final point would be we need a plan for staff retention. Staff and teacher retention is a huge issue. 35% turnover of staff and teachers in a single year at a school is devastating. It is just devastating. That is a third of the teachers who need to build new relationships with kids. A lot of our safety issues, a lot of our challenges are based on lack of meaningful adult relationships. Having a third of your school turn over who don't know these kids is just devastating to our population. Teachers to consume that new information, the training that's required, it is very, very difficult. And that lack of relationships also plays into our safety issues as well. Without good relationships, kids who are on the margin are going to make bad choices, and that leads to our safety issues. We can do something about that. We must support our teachers. I will make one budget comment. There's a budget issue about an HR employees relationship specialist to focus on diverse hiring. When we had this 30 to 40% turnover, my understanding is we hired 1 or 2 or maybe 3 people of color last year. That is ridiculous. We need a teaching staff that reflects what our kids look like. I'm shocked that in this age of affirmative action, we actually need to hire someone to specialize on hiring diverse staff. But if that's what it takes, approve that in the budget. We need to make progress on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Araceli, followed by Peyton.
Hello, Araceli Esparza, and I'm a resident of the East Side School feeding residency. Both of my sons graduated from La Follette High School. I am quite aware of all of the security reasons why we're having these board meetings and so forth. I just want to say that yes, the security upgrades are needed in all of our school structures, but also just keeping in mind that having a police officer there when you are dealing with a family or a population of immigrants that have had devastating interactions with somebody in a uniform can be detrimental as well, and I don't think we're being as sensitive as we can be about that. I'm all for staff security, like Maria Avila, who's been part of our relationship since I was a child here in Madison and born and raised. This is the courtesy that we need to do as be growing. The very people who are going to be our security, they need to come from our community. They cannot be strangers, right? They cannot come from the police force because they won't have the psychology, nor will they have the boundaries set up for them. I have heard and shared with some of you feedback of single parents, of police officers being, just say, overly friendly, okay? Overly friendly and taking advantage of their position of power and externality, and then utilizing that position of power and our vulnerability when we're advocating for our children at schools. And so I bring that so that we can just really think about all of these avenues, and you guys have such a great job, such a big job, enormous job. So I commend that you are diligently listening to all of us. It's going to be a long night, it sounds to me, so keeping your energy positive through this will be difficult. I know I've just, even myself have received various different interactions, and I would just ask the audience as well to be courteous to each other, to come to each other with love and care. Just as we treat a kindergartner, that needs to be how we treat a senior in high school. Thank you.
Thank you. Peyton, followed by Shira.
By now, you all should know who we all are. We come here today to not only testify against cops in schools, but we are also here because we care about black and brown youth. I have a great team with me today, a team that consists of black and brown intelligent and thoughtful leaders who have grown to become my friends and family. We all came together because of two common things. One, the love for our community, and two, to end violence within and against our community. The police play such a crucial role in the continuous harming and killing of black and brown people. It is an extremely violent institution that needs to be abolished, not put into our schools. For the last week, young people, teachers, parents, and community members from all over the nation have been participating in the Dignity in Schools National Week of Action against school pushouts, demanding counselors and not cops. This goes to show you that there are many people who want cops out of schools. Madison has this great opportunity to be one of the first to remove cops from schools and invest money and resources into programs, activities, and things that can positively transform young people's lives. Don't continue to uphold white supremacy. Be the change. Be on the correct side of history. Be the revolutionary. This world needs healing, and for far too long, black and brown people have been denied of their dignity, of their safety, and of their own healing. You can change that by divesting from the police and investing in students. That $360,000 can provide joy and happiness to cure depression and historical trauma, to provide free, healthier food in schools, food pantries, and youth advocates and counselors. These are examples of what can be done with that money. Instead of having harmful, notorious force in our schools, so we demand that you can take cops out of schools, invest $360,000 on youth of color, and students and families and community members of color have real decision-making power, because the school board is not fully representing the community, and having one student representative is not enough. All right.
Thank you. Shira, followed by King.
Having cops in my school would never make me feel safe. It feels like a jail. I don't know why we're still having this conversation when we come to these meetings all the time. As a youth of color who are most impacted by police, and we told you how they make us uncomfortable and feel unsafe. Our voices are never heard. Children of color are never seen as children, we're seen as targets. We're sick of being brushed off. We want the contract between MMSD and the city of Madison to be terminated. We also want the money that you all are trying to put into this contract to go to youth of color. Invest into organizations like Freedom Inc. to come run workshops for students and staffs about racism, LGBTQ, and gender justice. Give that money to who works with the most impacted. The root of all our fears is in white supremacy. The police won't stop that. You all are always talking about gun control, but want to put them in schools. Do you really think EROs will build a relationship with students and will help restorative justice? We do not feel safe. We have 3 demands. The first one is take cops out of schools. They don't need to be involved with anything in schools, especially restorative justice. Youth of color need space to feel safe. The second one is putting money into youth of color. That means make sure they have a place to eat and sleep at night. The last demand is student and family choose what they want to learn. It is very important for Black students to learn about the good that came out of the struggle. I hope you all are listening and make these changes.
King, followed by John.
We are tired of being targets. We are tired of always having to watch our backs while walking the streets. We're tired of burying our friends and family. These are the things that we have to go through almost every day due to police. And if we feel this way every day, why do you feel as if we want to feel this way at school? Youth of color walk around schools every day on their defense because police make us feel unsafe. Me being a college student, I see the same harassment that I see in high schools at my own school. Even me, being at this meeting, I am a target because I am speaking against this fucked up ass proposal your ad hoc committee has drawn up. We are tired of having our words fabricated and sugar-coated, so I'll say them again so that you hear them correctly. Remove cops out of school. Invest resources in education that promotes leadership, wellness, learning, and creativity for youth of color. Build transformative justice instead of punishing youth, and give youth and families decision-making power. If you cannot follow these simple demands, then you need to remove yourself. You say that you care about the students when everyone knows this isn't true. Just because you have a student up there does not mean that we're spoken for, because God knows what goes on when we aren't around to be able to watch him in the crowd. We, the youth of color who are impacted, are telling you to take police out of school who spark fear in us. If you want to know what we feel that you should use this $360,000 for, come and take a look at the wall on my right. And at this point, there is no way that you can say you do not have choices when we have pinned them up on the walls in front of you. Thank you.
Thank you. John, followed by Cynthia.
My name is John Vang, and I'm a youth organizer at Freedom Make. If you are truly represent the Madison School District, then you are supposed to be accountable to the community. And I am a part of that community. You are accountable to me. It's such a shame that you all think that the cops should be in our schools. It's such a shame you all would rather invest $360,000 into cops and not students. It's such a shame that young and Black and Hmong people have been consistently showing up to these meetings for over a year and a half, and yet nothing we have said is being taken seriously. We won't stop fighting until our voices are heard. We will continue to come here month after month and to tell you all to invest in students and not the police. And if y'all still choose to ignore us, y'all are nothing but some unacceptable, useless, racist cowards. You all really think you're doing a great job, but what you're actually doing is upholding white supremacy. You see the data and hear the stories of Black and brown youth needing more resources. But yet, you continue to spend their money on cops. That $360,000 can transform someone's life. I believe that having cops in schools will make schools safer, because school is about education, not incarcerating students of color. The money itself can do so much for students of color, such as free bus passes that will last for the whole entire school year. That way, they'll have a way of transportation, of getting to places, scholarships. That way, it can help them when they're going to college. And last but not least, youth advocates of color to work with students in a cultural specific way. That's really all I want. So now, go do your job correctly. And if you won't, then I suggest you all to step down from your position. Again, students of color deserve the money more than being harassed by cops in schools. We demand terminate the contract between MMSD and MPD. 2, invest that $360,000 into students of color. And 3rd, let students and family have community control over school safety. And if you all continue to ignore us, I promise you all this, we will shut shit down.
Cynthia, followed by May Tao.
The next speaker's name is Mai Tao, so I want you to speak her name correctly, please. Can you please say her name correctly? Please and thank you. Because I'm not going to take my turn until you say her name correctly. And I'm looking at you and straight directly in your eyes, waiting for you to say her name correctly. Say it. Please and thank you.
Come on, man, you wasted 30 seconds of her time.
Shame on you, Mary.
White supremacy
Shame
got
on
you.
you. Shame. You can't even say the person's name correctly after they correct you.
First of all, rude as fuck. Anyways, this meeting starts at 6 p.m., but y'all are 4 minutes late. Yes, I did keep track. Honestly, I'm tired of coming here, and I'm tired of seeing all of y'all faces. Yes. Okay. Y'all are not listening to our demands when we're the community and the students. $360,000 is a lot of money, y'all, and you can do so much things with that will benefit the students in the schools. But yet, y'all chose to invest into more cops. Why though? Like, I mean, do y'all not know math? Like, we demand to take all cops away from school and not add them. Y'all ordered us by twice of our age already, and we know what's right and how safety looks like better than y'all. But yet, we're the one who's down here looking at our oppressors and letting y'all make the decision. That's fucked up. Here's something that still triggers me to this day. Oh, well, we'll put a police station in the school. That would be community control. Nah, that's some white control shit. The fuck? That ain't no community control. What kind of bullshit is that, Dean? We want you all to invest the $360 into yearbook colors, help those who want to study abroad but couldn't because of not having the money for it, help get every student free healthy lunch, help pay for driver's ed, help upgrade the water fountains in the bathroom in the classroom because those shits are nasty as fuck. Everything that will benefit the students. I don't give a damn if y'all say something, oh, we'll have cops in school, but not have them in your uniform. Nah, what kind of stupid shit is that? At the end of the day, there's no cops and won't harm us. If y'all can't listen to the community, especially the students, man, y'all might as well give up on your seat and go home and drink some tea, and we'll show y'all what to do. We want our community control to decide what to do if there's any violence between students. We know what's best for us and how safety looks like. So we don't want y'all those who are sitting up there, who are not even students no more, to tell us what safety looks like. And you see, I can be at home doing homework right now, watching some K-drama, eat all that shit. Mike Mentor over there can be celebrating his birthday today, but yeah, we chose to come here to fight for our students and fight for our community. And we push everything that is also important in our lives aside just to come here and see y'all white people ass bullshit faces. We demand no cops in school, invest the money into the students of color and community control discipline.
My name is Mai Tao. I've been here so many times and I don't understand why didn't you get my name right. I'm a youth organizer at Freedom Inc. I have been to these meetings for too long and nothing has changed. I have been reading through these recommendations that you all grown white people wrote down for us, and it's just bullshit. These recommendations don't mention anything that we have been demanding. You all say that y'all listen to the community, but where and when? From what I see and hear, it's nonsense because what you all are doing is silencing people of color. All y'all been doing this whole time is treating white people with dignity and respect. But disrespecting us people of color. It clearly shows us that our education is not important to you all. You all really don't deserve this position if you don't listen to the people. Instead of wasting $360,000 on police, put this money in the hands of the people. I have seen that my people struggle with transportation and being able to afford lunch. So help us out by taking this money and using it to help low-income communities by making sure their basic needs are met. Every kid has the right to have free transportation and the right to have food in their stomachs. We aren't rich like privileged white people who have a lot of money to pay for both school supplies and school needs, and we don't have enough to pay for home bills and basic needs. We want counselors instead of cops. We don't need cops in our schools if all they do is push us out. We want counselors of color who will bring us back up when we are struggling and need a hand to stand back up. Create safe schools through positive safety and discipline measures. We demand that you all invest resources in education that promote leadership, wellness, learning, and creativity for youth of color. Use conflict resolution that leads to transformation for young people. Create opportunity for students, families, and communities to have power to make real decisions about school.
Thank you. Selena, followed by Ashiana.
My name is Selena Yang, and I'm a youth organizer at Freedom Inc. 2 years ago, I was no longer given a free bus pass at school. According to the district, my family made enough money to pay for my school meals and bus passes. But my family was barely making it. My parents were working all the time, and my oldest brother, the only other member in my family who was able to drive, was also working and going to college. During that time, I was an 8th grader. I went to school on the west side and lived on the south side. The only way for me to go to school and get home was for my parents and my brother to transport me. Because, again, the school wouldn't give me a bus pass. This proved to be very difficult. My family's work schedule always conflicted with my school schedule. There were many times when school was over and I would have to stand outside in the cold for long periods of time waiting. This is why you all need to stop paying for cops to be in our schools and use that $360,000 on students. As a school member, if you really care about us, invest in us, not the cops. Improve our schools. Put air conditioners in our schools. We suffer in the heat during summer. Fix our bathrooms. There are not enough gender-neutral bathrooms for our queer, trans, and gender non-binary people. Fix our lockers. Give all students free bus passes. You putting cops in our school does not fix anything. They are not resourceful but are harmful to black and brown students. So we demand the complete removal of police in schools, invest resources in education that promotes leaderships, wellness, learning, and creativity for youth of color, give community control over school safety. Students, families, and community needs decision-making power in our schools. Build transformative justice models instead of punishing youth.
Thank you. Asiana, followed by Hohua. And you're going to have to correct my pronunciation on that. H-O-U-A.
Anyways, so a 14-year-old student was tackled down, handcuffed, and tased by a school cop for defending herself against a bully. Instead of helping her and protecting her, the police hurt her. The police broke a 12-year-old student with a 12-year-old's arm that had a disability after he was trying to leave the classroom. Instead of supporting him, they hurt him. They didn't care that he had a disability. Another student was struck 18 times with a metal bat for not turning in his cell phone. The student was badly bruised and bleeding. A 17-year-old student was punched in the face by a school cop for having weed. Did the student actually have the weed on him? No. These are just a few stories of police harming kids in schools, and this is why we don't want them there. So y'all need to, 1, take the cops out of our schools, 2, invest in us instead of giving police money to hurt us. 3, let us say what our safety looks like.
Thank you.
My name is Mrs. Reese. I am the parent.
Excuse me.
I am the parent of Alante Kincaid. I'm taking the rest of her time, ma'am. Thank you. I am here because I have filed a with DPI for children. My son has an IEP. They have been found, I'll say guilty of the fact of violating 2 out of 3 with children with IEPs. I don't care if my son have activities outside of school. When he's in school, it is school. We are not going to bring his activities from outside of school into schools and think that you are going to punish him as if you are the police. Y'all know what time it is. They've been guilty. They are pushing our children out. They are pushing African American children out, sending them to the library to do school, and they're at 5th grade level, and they're seniors and they're juniors. This is unacceptable. And I just want y'all to know, I filed a lawsuit against this MMSD school district, okay? Due to the fact, because they have violated my rights. My son is in a little bit of issues right now with the law, but it ain't got a damn thing to do with what they did to him last year up at school, okay? So I ain't going nowhere, Cheatham. I'm waiting to release the tapes that I have of the conversations between her and I. I ain't going nowhere. I'm still right here. That's my baby that y'all saw today up on the news. But that happened today. This shit happened almost last year.
The next speaker will be Sherry Barnsley after yourself.
Hi, my name is Hua. I'm a mother of a child who has a learning disability. I'm here today to tell you why my child is not safe in schools who employ cops as an educational resource. I'm going to share a couple of stories. In May 2009, at the Academy for Learning, Marshawn Pitt, a 15-year-old special needs student, was beat by a school police officer for not tucking in his shirt as school dress code and policy required. The student was confronted in the hallway by the officer and school staff. After walking away, the officer slammed him against the lockers, pinned him on the floor, and broke his nose. In August 2015, in Latonia Elementary School, the ACLU filed a federal lawsuit on behalf of 2 elementary school children with disabilities, 8 and 9 years old, who were handcuffed and traumatized by a Kenton County Sheriff's deputy for behaviors that were manifested by their disabilities. The handcuffs did not fit on the children's wrist, so they were placed on the children's biceps in a very painful position. In May 2017, at the Gabe Allen Elementary, while the school principal choked him with her elbow, Dallas ISD police tased and handcuffed a 7-year-old Yosio Lopez, a special needs student with ADHD and a mood disorder. After Dallas ISD police violently responded to the call that Yosio was banging his head against the wall, he was taken to the Dallas Behavioral Health Care for close to a week without his mother's permission. In October 2017, in Eagle Ridge, Phoenix, a 10-year-old immigrant student at a neighboring school district was assaulted by a police officer hired through the Phoenix Police Department. The student was autistic and had an individualized education plan. He suffered several injuries, including a dislocated shoulder. He was handcuffed and isolated at the school's calm down room. These are just some of the many horrific stories that were documented. But what about those that weren't? What about those who are nonverbal? Who will protect these children? You can. You can remove cops from schools so that children can learn without fear. You can create a policy that holds people accountable for holds people accountable for using police to harm children, because we all know that cops will walk away with murder. Give the youth and families decision-making power around their education and growth. Instead of police, invest resources in education that promotes leadership, wellness, learning, and creativity for youth of color, and instead of punishment, build transformative justice. Thank you.
Thank you. Sherry, followed by Naija.
Hi, my name is Sherry Barnsley. I'm the admin clerk senior at O'Keefe Middle School. And I would like to share with you some information about the Code Red drill held at O'Keefe and Marquette on October 17th. I'm sure by now you've all seen the articles written by the reporters from the Capital Times and the Wisconsin State Journal about this specific Code Red drill. I'd like to set the record straight on a key component that was missing in those articles. That is, we were told by Central Office Administration to have this drill unannounced. What bothers me about this is that this crucial fact was not in either of the articles published, which would lead me to believe the information provided to the reporters from the district was either misquoted or lacking in some truth. Yes, the Code Red drill was unannounced. Do you know why it was unannounced? We were specifically told by the Chief of School Operations that fire and Code Red drills should be unannounced to staff and students. I have to say it took me by surprise. But in looking at Board of Education, your policy, 4147, under fire, weather, and school safety drills, it specifically says these drills should be without prior warning. We followed board policy. One of the articles stated, though not listed in district policy guide, that its guidance to school is that students, staff, and families should be notified prior to a Code Red drill taking place. The other article stated, recommendations tell administrators to provide, district recommendations tell administrators to provide prior notice to students and families, but the district needs to be more clear about the practices with school administrators. It said the district has been working on policies since last year's passage of Act 143, which in part changed state laws relating to school safety. Yet none of this information is included in Board Policy 4147, which you, the board, last updated on June 25th, 2018, and still states that these drills should be without prior warning. And you wonder why there's confusion. We followed the instructions given to us by the Chief of School Operations and Board of Education policy. I feel that someone from Central Office Administration should reach out to the newspapers to correct this misinformation so that the community knows where the decision came from to hold this drill unannounced. I also ask that Central Office Administration send out something to our staff and parents indicating that we did hold this drill according to Board of Ed policy information and information provided to us by the Chief of School Operations. Our staff and families need to know the district supports us in what we did. I need to know this too. Thank you.
Thank you. Naija, followed by Jessica William.
Trying to say it right. Hope you say it right next time.
Bây giờ cũng bị hoa máy nhỉ, cứ sao cả là rau cái chủ tao hay cả mình chắc họ cũng nên họ thì cũng thứ hay tao này cả lùi hết nè, chỉ cũng chân tao cái này chủ tao hay tao cũng cho lùi thế, cũng như ít từ nên ở nhớ đó giờ mà nó tao nên ngồi đi trong nó nè, cũng mua cho mình nhỏ, ở một cần tới đó nó từ high school thế, cũng như ít lần nè, thế ít lần nên ngồi nè, ở họ lì ba đó chơi nè mong, cũng bảo tao thì tao luôn ba chỉ tao bé tên mình nhỏ đó chỉ lì. Ta lúa chơi nhau nhau họ chỉ cần tao, tôi cả bé tem nhọn trai mà cần tao, thế tôi đâu là tôi chưa bự chỉ trong xứ, cũng chẳng tao hay tiệt, thế cũng chẳng tao hay tiệt lấy hay cho là tôi tới mình rồi bé cầm nhiều đu hàng chập lại đi, tao ý lúc trong tao nó là cũng như nó tao rồi lần đấy bé cho bé chơi nên thế bé cầm nhọn á, lấy hay tiệt cái này chỉ xong rồi bé buộc tao kiểu chia, như nó xí tao ta lúa, lấy sao cái này mỗi cái như nó có là xí, tao chỉ kho là lúc này nhà bé xóa. xử lý mua cái như nó cho là mua cái này chỉ khó với cái này khu cái rong đua thế mua cái trong rõ thế có mua là hay nên ở này là work counselor thế social worker thế có là kia tao cái cử tao mong mình cái đu thế tao comment cho bé cái mình nhỏ sợ thế là ba cái vừa tao pin ba rồi mình cần tao thế mua cho mỏ cái rong trong nhà nó bị chết cần tao thế có mua cho tiền nó đâu bị chết cần tao thế té trong tao rồi là cái rong chắc ú thế nhiều chuyện mua tay nó bây giờ mình nhỏ thế liền và mình cho nó năng nhân nhà bị xóa cũng mới có chơi sáng chập lại là này cho bồi thành họ cho họ thì bây giờ mình nhỏ nhưng tôi hay tao rồi đó nè nè hay tiền lấy chỉ sai giờ tao lôi ở đâu họ chơi cần tao cú tao nhận này nè tao ở này tầng kia chơi tao là tao chỉ mấy những chỉ bỏ cái khâu bây giờ mình nhỏ nhớ đó họ cho lù đi nè chỉ còn nó chạy tao hay tiền nay yên chỉ ở này cho họ lử thế nên chỉ một chơi bao hay tiền bây giờ nên xả tao đã chỉ tiền nay yên chỉ hay cái nên mua xe mình chữ nay giờ nó lo chứ tao chỉ mà nay chỉ mua xe mình chữ nè bé cái nên nó bé nó mẹ chỉ bé mua xe mình chữ bé lú tao cho là hay nên nay cho chơi sáng cho nay cái nên tao đó chứ còn nó khi tao đó cũng hay tiền nay yên chỉ mua bé đi bây giờ còn nó khi tao cũng hay tiền nay yên chỉ chơi sáng cho bé tay mình nhỏ cho cái phỏ xì còn nó khi tao đó cũng hay tiền nay chỉ tao ở đây cho họ là nay tao nó mà là tao vì hay tiền nay cho là chơi cái này ở cái bé chấm nhiều trong tám mình xứ nay chỉ ba bé thầu cơ nó cũng sao khi đó nay hay tiền cũng hay ít nữa ở đây chơi sáng thiết lú cho bé cái này hàng vì hay tiền thiết cũng chơi sáng cho cái tay nhà ở đây là gì bé bỏ ra cái tiền nhà nó tao hàng cũng hay ít nữa ở thể chế cũng sao để tay nhà nó bây giờ mua cho một chơi bé tay mình nhỏ lúc này nhà phải xóa vì lấy bé cái thơi cho đồ nó thiệt lấy giờ bé cái thơi cho ở đó thế kì như hai tiền này chơi sáng thế này nó xóa cho bé cái mình nhỏ thế tiệt thọ này mới tay nhẹ nó là chỉ khó bé cái mình nhỏ cái là ở tới cái này rong thơi cho rồi giờ lúc này bé nhà phải xóa.
Please finish up. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Marai Buki. Since I'm apparently doing work for the school district right now because I'm interpreting, I'll make sure I charge you. Okay. All right. I'll email you later, Marai Burki. All right. So, hello to all school board members and everyone here today. My name is Mai Nia Mo. Next time, make sure you say that correctly. I am a community member of Madison, Wisconsin for over 20 years. I have children that were and previously attend high school in the Madison district. As a mother and an advocate working with the Hmong community, I have seen how police had been involved in schools. The outcome of police in schools has affected the way our children do and behave in schools. I believe that police presence in schools has nothing to do with safety, but to police more and more of our students of color, especially black students, and putting many of our students into the school-to-prison pipeline. For over a year and a half now, I have seen and heard from many families and youth that they do not want $360,000 to be put into having ERO in schools. We want the $360,000 to be put into better school resources, such as more people of color counselors, social workers, teachers, Black Hmong Khmer curriculum, school bus passes, healthy lunch, air-conditioned school, better and new desk, and many more that students need in order to be successful. I am concerned about what you all as school board members have been doing on behalf of all these youth that come out to testify in opposition to EROs in schools. I'm concerned because I have read through the report, the recommendations, and none of the things that the youth said was even mentioned. This tells me that you all have not been doing your research and job. This tells me that you all are so heartless and only care about your white people, white privilege. This tells me that you are not even trying to listen. This tells me that you don't care at all about the safety of students. This tells me that you all should step down from your position because you are only bringing harm to our people. Lastly, I care about where the $360,000 goes because I am a taxpayer and I think that the money should be invested into our children, students of color, because they are our leaders today and will be our future leaders. If you all care like how I care, please invest the money into students and not the police, not police in schools.
Jessica Williams, followed by Hope.
So first of all, I want to give a shout out to my coworker, Mania. Y'all don't listen to the community anyway, so why even talk to you in English? I love that. So my name is Jessica Williams, and I am a gender justice advocate at Freedom, Inc., and of course, a strong promoter of, supporter of our No Cops in Schools campaign. I work with adult Black women, and many of them have had negative interactions with police and schools as youth, and now their children are starting to have those same negative interactions. I do supporting advocacy for Black women, but I spend hours every day brainstorming and trying to figure out how to resolve the issues that the kids are having in schools. So there's so many other things that you could be doing with that money besides having cops. Children have so many needs. I can barely help their mothers because we're trying to figure out how to save their kids from all of the things that's going wrong in the schools. So it's really not clear to me why, after listening to everything that people have been saying to you for 2 years, it's so hard for you all to recommend having cops removed from schools. I went to a school that didn't have police. We turned out fine. Security guards came in. They didn't stop fights. They never prevented anything. They barely broke anything up. By the time they got there, things had already stopped by themselves. The same thing happens in schools today with cops, like they don't actually prevent anything. So I did want to share with you all that last week in our staff meeting, we looked over your recommendations. At that point in time, I didn't know that those were your recommendations. I thought that Bianca and Zhong made up a list of recommendations for us to just kind of get an idea of what fit within our demands and what didn't. I don't think anyone in our staff knew that these were real. We thought it was something pulled offline. It was a joke, right? So we read over all of your demands. We ranked them on a scale of 1 to 5 of how they fit into our demands and what the community is asking for. You had a possible 80 points, and you got 21. That's a 26%, which is an F for fail. So I'm going to talk to you about a couple of these recommendations that you've made. Recommendation number 4 says that you wanted, I think recommendation number 4 said that you wanted the school district to write a transparent process for filing complaints against the police in schools. We've seen countless videos and heard countless stories of police officers on the streets murdering, beating, and assaulting Black people, and we didn't get no damn justice for that. I don't know why you think that the school district is going to write a policy that's going to have accountability of police in schools. It's not going to happen. That's all of y'all's brains up there. Like, you should understand how power works, and if we can't do anything to police that have been murdering people, then we damn well ain't going to do anything to police in schools that are beating kids. Number 5 and 6, recommendations number 5 and 6 said that you wanted to grant MMSD the right to remove officers from the schools, and you wanted to grant them the right to veto police officers. We are demanding that you veto them now. We're not waiting on a recommendation. We want them vetoed right now. You have the power to do that, and that's what we're asking for. Thank you.
Thank you. Hope followed by Savan.
Okay, so today I'm going to name as many incidents as I can to show you that having police in schools is heinous. Keep in mind that these are school resource officers assaulting Black and brown youth, and these are only a fraction of incidents that have occurred between 2010 and 2018. Police shocked 2 12-year-old boys with stun gun. Minor assault resulted in resource officer murdering 14-year-old Latinx boy. 20-year-old Black man murdered outside a school dance because he was having car trouble. 15-year-old boy killed by officers, one wearing plain street clothing. 17-year-old student placed in medically induced coma after police failed to call paramedics, instead handcuffing the unconscious student. Police officer was caught on camera praying before punching student. Police beat 17-year-old queer girl and knocked her brother's teeth out for trying to defend her. 15-year-old student left with 2 bone fractures after student officer beats him. Student was struck with metal nightstick by school officer when student asked for his phone to be returned. 10th grade girl was assaulted by 3 resource officers in school to give up her cell phone. She was suspended and fined. Student was suspended after being assaulted by resource officer, resulting in broken jaw. Officer assaulted multiple students, resulting in many hospital visits. 13-year-old girl was put into chokehold by school resource officer until he could barely breathe and had blurry vision. Student was assaulted, put into chokehold many times, and body slammed on camera by resource officer in school. 13-year-old girl was beaten by a resource officer in front of his mother in school office. 11-year-old student's wrist was broken by resource officer violently handcuffing him. His parents were not notified that he had been handcuffed. 14-year-old girl was choked and slammed to the ground by multiple school officers. 14-year-old boy was slammed to the ground while his brother was being handcuffed. 14-year-old black girl was attacked and another black girl was arrested for taping and attempting to de-escalate the situation. I hope that by now you're sick to your stomach, because there's a lot more. 16-year-old boy was struck in the head twice for drinking water in the hallway without a hall pass. Student standing near a school fight was assaulted. Student was assaulted by a resource officer while another watched, resulting in injuries to his face and ribs. 15-year-old girl was body slammed and dragged out of camera view by officer, then forced to move schools. Officer used excessive force on 16-year-old student, leaving him bloodied and unconscious. 14-year-old student verbally assaulted before being physically assaulted, resulting in 2 broken teeth, various bruises, and lacerations to his face and neck. With all these incidents, no change has been made to protect black and brown bodies. You can protect these youth by listening to our demands. Remove cops from schools, invest resources in education that promotes leadership, wellness, learning, and creativity for youth of color. Build transformative justice instead of punishing.
Please finish up.
Give youth and families decision-making power. I can't see the time because he is in the way.
Thank you. Savang, followed by Monker.
My name is Savang Chom. I am a Cambodian American genocide survivor. I shared enough of my personal stories, and the youth here share enough of their stories over and over again and not being listened to. Last week, we participated in Dignity in School Weeks, the week of action. Today, we are ending it strong here. The themes, counselor, not cops. Today, I want to share stories of youth around the country who's been treated less than a human being by the ERO. The injustice that the ERO practice every day with students of color. November 13th, 2013, assault at Suitland High, Prince George County, Maryland. A school police officer was recorded by school security camera removing his gun belt, placing his weapon on the floor, taking off his bulletproof vest, and kneeling down to pray before punching a 17-year-old student in the face for allegedly possessing marijuana. It was later revealed the student did not have marijuana. May 2014, assault at Highland Alternative in Albany, Georgia. A civilian video reveals a school police officer assaulted a 15-year-old student. The video showed the student walking into a hallway when the police officer tackled the student into a wall and then body slammed him into the ground. Then the school police officer unleashed a barrage of punches to his face and torso. The officer restrained the student by kneeling on his knees and legs and handcuffed him. As a result, the student suffered 2 bone fractures. These stories tell you that the ERO are not to be trusted, even though we can see it with our own eyes, and still we don't see it. Well, we have technology to prove it. There are cameras out there. As you can see on the wall, we can use $360,000 for so many great things. These are from people from our communities. We can use it such as mindfulness and emotional intelligence class. We as society don't practice mindfulness because we are so busy doing. If we have classes such as this, we can teach our students how to regulate their emotions and how to problem solve. We need to be connected as human beings. And when we don't get our basic needs met, we are not the best person that we can be. I'm asking you, remove COP from school, invest resources in education that promotes leadership, wellness, learning, creativity for youth of colors. Build transformative justice instead of punishing youth. Give youth and family decision-making power. I can't see how much time I have left. What I want you all to know is that we're all human beings and you're all sitting up there. You all have feelings. We all hurt. All the students out there, what they're facing every single day is a fear. They have to watch over their shoulders. And this fear will not go away. It's in our bodies, and each one of you feel that. When you have that fear, your body triggers you. And once that body triggered, you're down. And you know what? When you're down, you do some stupid things.
You know, I'm sorry, the time did run out. You probably didn't see it. I would appreciate you finishing up.
What I'm saying, yes, what I'm saying, as human beings, when we don't get our basic needs met, we cannot be the best person that we can be. Namastes.
Monker, followed by Caleb.
Okay, yeah, y'all need to like scoot it over some because we really can't see. Like all of y'all right here in the way. So y'all need to scooch it over some. I don't care what the timer said, really. Oh no, y'all don't have to block this. I'm not a youth, and I want them to see. Okay. So, hey. Some of y'all on y'all phone, I've been seeing some of y'all up there yawning and stuff. But this is some serious shit. You know, at first when I got here to Madison, about a year after the youth had started coming to the ad hoc meetings, I was like, oh my gosh, these youth, they're not respecting their elders. They're cursing and stuff. Oh my gosh, this is horrible. But then I sat there and saw how y'all disrespected them meeting after meeting, pronouncing the same 2-3 people's name wrong. Letting these white supremacists come up in here and being like, we gotta respect them. Watching while one of our youth was getting hit right here and being like, but they look like a 21-year-old to me. So I don't really give a fuck if y'all feel disrespected, because that's their right. They've been getting disrespected for almost 2 years now, and if you're uncomfortable, then maybe you need to, they're doing it so that you can think twice about what y'all are doing up there. So that's how it was when I first got here. I thought if we shared some statistics with y'all, if we shared some heartwarming stories, you know, if we just came up here and were respectful, y'all would do the logical next steps. Police kill people, police harm us. Instead, every single recommendation, every single action that you've taken have been rooted in white supremacy. So it made me think about what we're actually up against, what I thought at first and what we're actually up against. Today, when I was taking out garbage, I was in my car, and this white man comes up to me, like my front driver's side door is open. He comes up to me and approaches me like he's about to get in the car with me. He's like, can I ask you a question? I said, no, thank you. And I started driving off, and then he starts cussing at me, chasing me in the car. So, I mean, I don't call the police on black people, but I mean, I would love for y'all to come and collect y'all white people when y'all acting a fool. So I called the police. After I explained the incident, the dispatcher was like, so you said it was a black man? I didn't say shit about race at first. This is what we're up against.
Everything y'all do is rooted in white supremacy and anti-blackness. So we really can't trust y'all to make decisions about the lives of these students because this is some serious shit. We don't need people who are sitting up here checking their phones, yawning and everything else, and who have sat and looked at the recommendations and said, yes, that looks good, because this is some serious shit. I've come to the conclusion that y'all need to step down, because we ain't getting nowhere with y'all. Step down. And I canvass with my leaders, I do civic engagement, the people at the doors on the south side have come to the same conclusion. Y'all need to step down, because this is trifling, and clearly y'all don't think that this is serious. So like I said, just step down. Y'all playing these white liberal politics when this shit is serious.
Please
the demands of the youth.
Please finish up.
I had 40 extra seconds. I saw it, Mary Burke. I have 40 extra seconds.
I reset it.
Even after you reset it, I have 40 extra seconds. I'm a grown-ass woman. I can read the numbers. So the demands that these youth have been saying, you can talk slower and talk with slower cadence. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to finish my statement. So the demands that they have been saying, completely remove police from schools, invest resources in education that promotes leadership, wellness, learning, and creativity for youth of color. That doesn't mean writing black excellence at the top of some bullshit ass plan. Because before we can be excellent, we need to have our needs met. Give community control over school safety. This means students, families, and community need decision-making power within our schools. Build transformative justice models instead of punishing youth. That means y'all be acting a fool sometimes too, and sometimes y'all need to go to restorative justice circle too. So that's my statement. Thank you.
Caleb, followed by Zahn.
Hello. So my name is Caleb, and I'm queer, and I'm Hmong. Let me say that again. My name is Caleb. I'm queer, and I'm Hmong. And I'm an organizer of Freedom Inc. And I'm proud of my two identities. And let me teach you a little bit about my history, since we don't learn it in school. I love being Hmong. And when you look at Hmong clothes, you can see the resiliency in my people. A sao around my neck for when the Chinese try to sell us as slaves. French coins that dangle from our, French coins from when the French tried to colonize us. And coded language in our stitches because everyone tried to strip us of our tongue. My people were able to survive years of slavery and war and genocide and assimilation, and we were able to keep culture and language alive. It saddens me that when we were forced to leave our homeland and come to the United States, 45 years, and our language and our culture is dying rapidly. How proud you all must be to be the country to break my people. And today I turned 25 years old. And I chose to be here today because I believe in the freedom of my people. And when you're investing in police, you're supporting the United States bombing my country for 9 years. When you're investing in police, you're supporting the genocide of my people. When you're investing in police, you're okay with these kids of colors forgetting their own history and being targeted. And when you're investing in police, you're no different from the colonizing Europeans who killed many of people around the world.
Zahn, followed by Bianca.
My parents did not cross an ocean for someone, Marai, to mispronounce my name. Marai Baraki. When you make a mistake, because apparently you all think that young people make countless mistakes and that there should be consequences for it, right? You just made a mistake. Actually, you made multiple mistakes, and when the young people addressed you and asked you to correct it, you ignored us. How proud you must be to be white. You must do a lot of crocodile tears too. So, I am finally back. I missed, I've been gone for a month and I missed last month's board meeting. I was sad about it, but I think what's even more sad and disappointing is that we're here and we're still talking about the same thing, right? And while I was away, I had this chance to really just sit and observe and breathe. What a privilege that is. I mean, white people do that every single day. And I saw and heard a lot of things. One, I heard about ICE coming into town. ICE actually detained one of my acquaintances. I heard about the Kavanaugh case. We were watching it where I was. And then I also heard about the incidents at the high schools. And I thought, what could possibly be done? What is needed here? And then earlier I heard, when you all began your meeting, you talked about how every school should be a thriving school. How the fuck are you gonna have a thriving school if you're locking up students? How? And then you, Gloria, wherever you went, and whoever knows Gloria can pass this message on to her. How the hell are you gonna stand there and talk about ICE and all this shit, but you are here supporting the locking up of young people here? And then I'm pretty sure there's a lot of survivors out there, a lot of women, especially a lot of white women, who are probably like, oh my God, the Kavanaugh case, oh my God, oh my goodness, we need to believe in survivors, we need to listen to them. Well, let me tell you something. There's countless survivors here. Police officers, they've assaulted many of these folks that they've arrested. Does anybody recall there was also an incident at East High School where a girl was assaulted and there were police officers there, and did they do anything? No. Keep looking, Mary. I'm right here.
I was looking at the clock because
yes, I know. You can look at that. And then there was this earlier, there was somebody up here really talking about how there's this lack of meaningful adult and student relationship.
Please finish up.
So, if you really want meaningful relationships, then maybe you need to stop investing money in the police and actually invest that money in students. And if you are continuously saying we don't got no resources for our teachers and there's all this layoff and all this shit, then invest that money in that.
Thank you. Please finish up. Bianca. You're next, followed by
Mary, oops, I'm sorry, I pronounced your name incorrectly, Marai Borke. Marai. Next time when we come here, you need to respect us, and next time when we come here, there should be a push to actually get the police officers out. Okay? Because, again, I want to reiterate what Manka really said, that you all keep saying that our young people are acting a fool.
Please shut
but
the
here's the thing.
off.
You can
the board will be going into recess.
said segregation now, segregation tomorrow, segregation forever, thought that he would be on the right side of history. I'm sure Orville Faubus, who refused to let the Little Rock Nine into their school, thought that he would be on the right side of history. I'm sure Hillary Clinton, who called black and brown youth super predators, thought that she would be on the right side of history. I'm sure goddamn Donald Trump think that he gonna be on the right side of history. And I guarantee you they are not, and neither will you, because when Freedom Inc. writes our movement history, we will make sure all of your names are listed as people who supported police harming black and brown youth. And that is how history will remember you. And I hope that none of y'all decide to run for office again, because I guarantee you 95% of this room ain't gonna vote for you. Again, what side of history do you want to be on? Do you want to be on the side of morality and justice or white supremacy? Right now, you're looking towards the side of white supremacy, so keep that up if you want to, because we got something for you. And I don't want to hear nothing about strategic frameworks of black excellence. Strategically figure out how to take the police out of schools. Strategically figure out how to invest money into these kids instead of investing it into the police. And strategically figure out how to shift power to the people who are impacted by police violence. Figure that shit out, and then we can have a conversation. Oh, I got time left. All right. No cops! No cops! No cops! No cops! If we don't get it, 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 no cops! No cops! No cops! No cops! If we don't get it, 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 no justice.
We're going into recess.
No justice.
We're going into